Alright, so tayo ngayon muling nagbabalik mga kaibigan at magbabahagi ng panibagong kaalaman. So ngayon nga ang ating pag-aaralan ay the basic rules of differentiation. And shout out nga pala kay Liana Bulacan kasi siya ang nag-request ng ating lesson ngayong araw. So maraming salamat kaibigan sa pagtangkilik sa ating mga lessons. Thank you, ang maraming ninyo. Sa mga videos na ating napagsasamahan. So ayun na nga umpisa na nga natin. Basic rules of differentiation, depende yan sa kung sinong magtuturo, kung ilan ba yung ibibigay niyang rules of differentiation. Kasi nag-iiba-iba Pero kasing mga rules na dinadagdag, pero makukuha mo naman using the other rules. So, kumbaga shortcut lang. So, ngayon, ang aking ibibigay ay 7 plus yung chain rule. Kaya mamaya natin bilangin kung ilan ba talaga yung maibibigay ko. So, rule number 1. So, rule number 1 of differentiation. Rule number 1 is the constant rule. Constant rule. Huwag ko na nga isulat, tatagal tayo. So, rule number 1 is the constant rule. Tandaan nyo na lang, constant rule. Ibig sabihin daw, the derivative. So, yung ating derivative ay denoted as the derivative. So, D. The derivative of C in terms of X ay 0. So, that is our first rule, constant rule. So, kung whatever the given, basta yan ay constant. Ano ba yung constant? Yan yung mga whole number na walang variable. So, constant, derivative of a constant is 0. So, laging 0. Derivative of C in terms of X is 0. So, example na nga natin, halimbawa, y equals, let's say, 5. So, the derivative of y is dy over dx equals derivative of a constant is 0. Ganun lang. Yung rule number 1 natin. And nga pala, kung yung iba ay hindi sanay sa dy over dx, marami pang pwedeng gamitin na notation for the derivative. So, ginagamit ko rin yung y prime. Y prime is also derivative of y. Yun yung notation na minsan ginagamit ko para mas maikli nga naman. Kasi kung dy over dx, medyo mahaba kasi may denominator pa. Y prime na lang. So, kahit alin naman dyan ay pwede. So, that is rule number 1. Proceed tayo sa rule number 2 natin. Rule number 2 is the general rule. Kumbaga, the derivative of x in terms of x is 1. So, kapag daw x na lang yung natira sa ating equation, the derivative of x is 1. Ayun derivative of x is 1. So, example na nga natin, y equals 5 minus x. So, the derivative of y is y prime equals derivative of 5 is 0. That is constant. Then, minus the derivative of x, which is 1. So, our answer is y prime equals negative 1. And that is rule number 2. O yung general rule na tinatawag na natin. Ganun lang madali lang yung rule number 1 and number 2 natin.
Di ikaw nang magaling.
So basta, halimbawa pa nga natin, let's say we have y plus 6 is equal to 3 plus x. So again, derivative of y is y prime or dy over dx yan plus 0 equals 0 derivative of constant, 0, plus derivative of x, 1. So, our final answer is 1. Ganyan lang ang rule number 2 natin. So, rule number 3 tayo. Dali lang, ano? Rule number 3 is the power rule. Rule number 3 is the power rule. If you are required to find the derivative of, let's say, x raised to n, the derivative of x raised to n in terms of x, yung n na yan is any exponent. Kahit yan ay 100 exponents, 1,000 exponents, fraction, negative, etc. Still, we will use the power rule. So, ano ba yung power rule? Sabihin lamang daw niyan, itong n ay ibababa natin doon. So, that will be n multiply by x. Tapos, yung n natin, mababawasan ng 1. So, that will be n minus 1. Nasundan ba? So, again, kapag meron tayo ay x raised to 4, x raised to 5, x raised to etc., ang magiging differentiation natin ay ganito. So, ibababa natin yung n doon. Ayun. Tapos, multiply by x. Kukopihin natin yun. Raised to n minus 1. So, paano ba yan? Halimbawa, kung medyo naguguluhan kayo dun sa ating rule, bigay tayo ng example number 1. Let's say, we have y equals x cubed minus 6. Okay? Now, derivative of y is y prime equals. So, ito na nga yung sinasabi ko. Pa-apply natin ang power rule. So, paano ba yung power rule? Again, ito exponent 3. So, ibababa ko yan dyan. 3 multiply by x raised to n minus 1. So, ano ba yung n natin? 3. That is 3. So, 3 minus 1, that will be 2. Minus 0, derivative of a constant. So, therefore, y prime is equal to 3x squared. And that is the final answer. Ganun lang. That is our power rule. So, yun. Bababa mo lang yun. And then, yung exponent niya, mababawasan ng isa. That is 2. The example number 2, or example letter B natin, halimbawa na lang, y equals x raised to 4 minus x cubed minus x squared plus 7. So, by applying the rule of the power rule, we have y prime, that is the derivative of y. Then, derivative of x raised to 4 is, bababa mo yung 4. Then, copy mo yung x, mababawasan ng isa yung exponent. Minus, baba mo yung 3. Copyhin mo yung x, mababawasan ng 1 yung kanyang exponent. Minus, copyhin mo yung 2, baba mo yung 2. Then, copyhin mo yung x, mababawasan ng isa yung kanyang exponent. Plus 0. Hindi ko na ilalagay yun. And that is our final answer. That is power rule. Okay? That's rule number 3 nito. Let's see, meron tayong rule number 4. Yan. So, nakakaapat na tayo ng rules. Yung rule number 1 is the constant rule. Number 2 is the general rule. Number 3 is the power rule. Number 4 is the ano nga ba tawag dito? Ano tawag dito? Constant multiple rule. Yon. The constant multiple rule. So, ano ba yun? Ito yan. The derivative of sabihin na natin k yung constant multiply by a function. The derivative of k multiply by a function is, kukopihin lang natin yung k, and then yung derivative ng function. Ganun lang.
Wow.
So, parang yung k na yan, yun yung coefficient kasi. So, kumbaga, parang yung function natin ay dinagdagan lang ng coefficient. Halimbawa natin, y equals 5x squared minus x plus 5. So, apply na nga natin itong rule number 4. At the same time, yung rule number 3 natin, yung power rule. At yung iba pang rules natin. So, derivative ng y is y prime. So, kung mapapansin natin, may coefficient na yung kaniyang x squared. So, ibig sabihin daw, kukopihin mo lang yan, 5. And then, multiply by the derivative ng x squared, which is power rule. Gagamit tayo ng power rule. So, that will be, bababa ko yung 2, kukopihin ko yung x, mababawasan ng isa yung exponent. So, 1 na lang yan. Minus, derivative of x is 1 plus 0. So, na-apply natin yung rule number 4, rule number 2, and rule number 1. So, simplify na natin. Y prime now is equal to 10x minus 1. Multiply ko lang yan, minus 1. And that is our answer for example letter A. Example pa, for letter B. Let's say, meron tayong y equals 3 multiplied by x minus 5. Now, again, meron tayong function, then meron siyang coefficient. So, parang ito lang din yun. Yung 3 natin, yung k, and then yung ating, ito pala. Yung 3 ay yung k, yung f of x naman ay yung x minus 5. So, apply natin yung rule. So, derivative of y is y prime is equal to, copy mo yung 3, then multiply by the derivative of x minus 5. Ano bang derivative ng x minus 5 natin? So, derivative of x is 1, and then, derivative of constant is 0. So, that is our answer. Therefore, our y prime is positive 3. That is our final answer for example letter B. Ganun lang, apply yung rule number 4. So, rule number 5 tayo. Tignan natin sa rule number 5 natin. Rule number 5 is the sum and difference rules. Sum and difference rules. So, paano ba yan? Ibig sabihin daw, let's say meron tayong two functions, f of x and g of x. So, ang derivative daw ng dalawang function, let's say f of x plus g of x, two functions yan, f of x and g of x, equals yung derivative ng f of x plus derivative ng g of x. So, pag hihiwalay, i-distribute mo lang yung derivative na to dun sa f of x, tsaka yung dun sa g of x. So, ibig sabihin pala yan, so plus minus yan plus minus, kasi sum and difference nga eh. So, ang rule lamang natin ay ang derivative ng f of x plus minus derivative ng g of x. Yon. Kumbaga, dinistribute lang yung derivative notation na to, yung d over dx doon sa f of x and g of x. So, yun na nga yun. So, that is the sum and difference. So, example now, letter A. Say, for example, we have y equals 3x cubed minus 6 minus 2x squared plus x. So, let's say, for example, meron tayong ganyan given. Then, you are required to solve for the derivative or the dy over dx. So that is the derivative of y. So let us now differentiate. So the derivative of y is dy over dx or y prime. So yun lang din yun equals, so apply nga natin yung ating rule number 5. So yung derivative nito, then derivative nito, and then kung ano yung kanyang operation. Ganun lang. So ano bang derivative nito? Ang derivative ng ating 3x cubed minus 6 ay gamit ulit tayo nung ating power rule. So 3 multiplied by 3, that is 9. Copy mo yung x, mababawasan ng isa yung exponent. So that will be 2. Minus, derivative of constant is 0. Okay? So minus, derivative of 2x squared is 2 multiplied by 2, that is 4. Copy mo yung x, then mabawasan ng isa yung exponent niya. Plus 1. Then simplify. So dy over dx now is equal to 9x squared minus 4x minus 1. And that is our answer. Ganun lang yung rule number 5 natin. So kung yan man ay addition o subtraction, basta i-distribute mo lang yung derivative notation. Okay, so rule number 6 na nga tayo, Rule number 6. Rule number 6. So, ang rule number 6 natin is the product rule. So, paano ba yung product rule natin? So, let's say we have f of x and g of x again as our two functions. So, the derivative of the product of the two functions, yan. Derivative daw ng dalawang functions ay kasya kaya dito? Kasya yan. Copy the first term. So, ito na yung derivative Copy the first term, which is the first function, f of x, then multiply by the derivative of the second term, which is g of x. So, the derivative is g prime of x. Plus, copy the second term, and then multiply by the derivative of the first term. That is our product rule. Okay? So, paano ba natin gagamitin yan? Example, letter A. Let's say we have y equals 5x plus 6 multiplied by 3x squared minus 7. Let's say we have this example. So to find the derivative of the example letter A, derivative of y is y prime equals, again, this we have two factors. So ang gagamitin natin ay product rule number 6. So paano ba yung product rule? Copy the first term. So copyhin daw muna natin yung first term o yung first function natin, 5x plus 6. Then multiply by the derivative of the first of the second function. So ano ba derivative niyan? So that is 2 multiplied by 3, that is 6. Then copy the x, and then yung kanya exponent mababawasan ng isa. So 1 na lang 'yon. Hindi ko na isusulat. Minus 0. So hindi ko na isusulat doon. Plus, copy the second term. So we have 3x squared minus 7 as our second term, multiply by the derivative of the first term, which is 5x plus 6. So, ang derivative ng 5x is 5. Kasi ang derivative ng x ay 1 na lang yon. So, hindi ko na ilalagay yon. 1 na lang yun As derivative ng 6 ay 0. So, 5 lang yan. Therefore, simplify natin. Our answer will be, distribute natin to. 6x multiplied by 5x, that is 30x squared. Then 6x multiplied by 6, that is 36x. Plus 3x squared multiplied by 5, that is 15x x squared. And then, multiply 5 by negative 7, that is negative 35. So, combine like terms lang natin. We have 30x squared dito at meron tayong 15 dito. So, we have 45x squared plus 36x minus 35. And that is our derivative. Ganun lang i-apply yung ating product rule. So again, copy the first term, then multiply by the derivative of the second term, plus copy the second term, then multiply by the derivative of the first term. So, rule number 7 na nga tayo, no? Check muna natin kung tama ba yung sagot natin, no? Rule number 7. Siyempre, kung meron tayong multiplication rule, meron din tayong division o yung tinatawag na quotient rule. So, paano ba yung quotient rule? Again, let's say we have f of x and g of x as the two functions. So, to solve for the derivative of the quotient of the two functions, division yan. That is, copy the denominator first. So, unang-una yung denominator natin. Then, multiply by the derivative of the numerator. Minus, copy the numerator. Then, multiply by the derivative of denominator. All over the square of the denominator. That is our quotient rule. So, paano ba yan? Say we have example letter A. Bigay tayo, halimbawa, y equals 10x cubed minus 2x, sabihin natin 3x, all over, let's say we have x. So, since we have a fraction here, so obviously, i-apply natin yung rule number 7, which is the quotient rule. Ngayon, let us differentiate. So, the derivative of y is y prime equals, again, let us apply the quotient rule. Yung denominator muna. So, kapayin muna natin yung denominator. Then, multiply by the derivative of the numerator. So, ano ba yung numerator natin? Ito yan. Ano ba derivative niya? So, 3 multiply by 10, that is 30. Kapihin mo yung x. Pababawasan ng isa yung exponent. So, 2 na lang yon. Minus 3 multiply by the derivative of x, that is 1. So, 3 na lang. Okay? So, minus, kapihin natin yung numerator, minus 3x, then multiply by the derivative of the denominator, which is 1, all over the square of the denominator. Okay? So, ngayon, simplify natin yung numerator. Distribute ko to. So, we have 30x cubed. Ito yun x multiplied by 30x squared. That's 30x cubed minus 3x. Ito yan. Then, minus to. So, that will be minus 10x cubed. Negative, negative. That is positive 3x. All over x squared. Negative 3x plus 3x is 0. So, wala na yan. Ang meron na lang tayo ay 30x cubed minus 10x cubed. So, 30 minus 10, that will be 20x cubed. All over x squared. So, our final answer will be y prime is equal to, makakancel na to eh. Tapos may natitira 1 na lang yun. 20x. And that is our final answer. Yan, nakita pala. Yan. So, rule number 8 na nga tayo, no? Rule number 8. Rule number 8 is the chain rule. Now, ako kasi, para sa akin, dalawa yung chain rule. So, meron tayong chain rule na gagamitan ko ng power rule and then yung chain rule ng composite functions. So, unahin ko nga yung sa power rule. So, sabihin na natin rule number 8.1. The derivative of the given function x raised to n is equal to, so gagamitin natin yung power rule na yan. So bababa ko yung n, multiply by x raised to n minus 1, then still multiply by the derivative of x. The derivative of x in terms of x. Kasi, let's say for example, merong expression kasi na yung pinagkuhanan natin ng derivative ay still differentiable, gagamitan natin ng chain rule yon. So, gawa ko na isang ibang example. So, let's say meron tayong unang example, y equals sabihin na nating quantity 5x cubed minus 3x squared, quantity raised to 5. So you are required to solve for the derivative of the function. So paano natin gagawin yan? Apply natin yung chain rule 8.1 ko. So, y prime, derivative of y is y prime. Then, bababa ko yung exponent. That is the power rule. Bababa ko yun. Tapos, kukopihin ko ngayon to. Kopihin ko yan eh. Yan yung ating x kumbaga. So, 5x cubed minus 3x squared. Babawasan ng isa yung 4 na yan. Dito pala, papalitan ko to, hindi 2x. Pero tama din naman yung x. Kaya lang, para mas maintindihan natin, gagawin ko siyang function, f of x. So, what if a function is raised to an exponent? So, yun na nga yun. Function raised to an exponent. That is, power rule, multiply by f of x, raised to n minus 1, multiply still by the derivative of the function. So, ito na nga yung gagawin ko ngayon. Ginagawa natin. So, example letter A. So, binaba ko ngayon. Then, kinopya ko ngayon tong function na to. Ito yan. Then, nabawasan ng isa yung exponent. Tapos, multiply by the derivative of the function. So, ito yung function natin. Multiply pa daw natin sa derivative niyan. Ano ba derivative niyan? So, that is 3 multiply by 5 is 15. Then, kakapihin ko yung x. And then, mababawasan ng isa yung exponent niya. Then, multiply by the derivative of x, which is 1. So, hindi ko na ilalagay yun. Minus 2 multiply by 3, that is 6. Kopihin ko yan, mababawasan ng isa yung exponent niya. Kaya 1 na lang. Okay? Then, simplify. Y prime will be 5x cubed minus 3x squared raised to 4 multiply by 15x squared minus 6x. So, di natin pwedeng pagsamahin yan or FOIL method kasi ang may exponent tayo doon na 4, dito naman ay 1. So, yan na yung ating final answer. Okay. That is rule 8.1. Nasundan ba yung ating rule 8.1? Yung rule 8.2 ko naman ay composite function. So, rule number 8.2 sa chain rule natin, that is the derivative of y in terms of x is equal to the derivative of y in terms of u multiplied by the derivative of u in terms of x. So, syempre, pag pinag-multiply natin yan, makakancel lang yung du na yun. So, therefore, dy over dx talaga. Yan ay ginagawa kung given ay more than one function or two functions. Let's say, for example, we have example letter A natin. Meron tayong y equals 3u squared plus 4u and u equals x squared plus 5. Now, the requirement is solve for dy over dx or the derivative of y. Pero dalawa yung given functions natin. Paano bang gagawin dyan? So, i-apply natin yung rule 8.2. So, to be able to solve for dy over dx, kailangan mo munang kunin yung derivative of y in terms of u. And then, derivative of u in terms of x. So, paano ba yan? So, dun sa una nating function, itong y equals 3u squared plus 4u, makukuha natin ang derivative ng y in terms of u. So, ito yon. Then, dun sa pangalawa, derivative of u in terms of x. So, ito yon. So, kunin na nga natin, derivative nung y in terms of u tayo. So, gamit ito, y equals 3u squared plus 4u. Derivative of y in terms of u, kasi u yung variable dun sa kabilang side That is simply applying the rules. So, this is power rule, 2 multiplied by 3, that is 6. Then u minus 1. The exponent niya. Plus 4. Kasi 1 na lang yung derivative ng u. So, meron na tayong dy du. Next natin kukuhanin ay yung dy ay du over dx. So, dito natin makukuha yon. U equals x squared plus 5. Now, the derivative of u in terms of x is du over dx equals power rule. Bababa ko yung 2 doon, decopying ko yung x, mababawasan ng isa yung 2, that is 1, plus 0. So, meron na tayong dy du and du over dx. Ngayon, mumultiply lang natin yon to be able to solve for dy over dx. So, apply lang natin ito. dy over du, this is dy over du. So, 6u plus 4. Then, multiply by du over dx, ito yon, multiply by 2x. Therefore, our dy over dx is 2x multiply by 6u plus 4. Pero, yung u natin, ito yon, x squared plus 5. Okay? So, yung u na to, papalitan natin ng x squared plus 5. Paano ba natin gagawin yun? Nililipat ko na, hindi na kasya dito Siguro dito na lang sa baba. Dito na lang. So, yung dy over dx, dy over dx ko, eto yan So, 2x, palitan ko yung u. 6 multiply by x squared plus 5 plus 4. So, distribute ko lang yon. So, we have 2x multiplied by 6x, ay 6 multiplied by x squared, that is 6x squared. And 6 multiplied by 5, that is 30, plus 4. Then, distribute ko ulit. Ito, dito, sa loob. 6x multiplied by 6x squared, that is 12x cubed. 30 plus 4, that is 34, multiplied by 2x, that is 68x. And that is our dy over dx. That is our final answer. That is rule number 8.2. So, yun. Maraming salamat sa panonood mga kaibigan. Huwag niyong kalimutang i-like ang ating channel. Toot! At gayon din, syempre mag-subscribe na rin kayo. Toot! At huwag niyo rin kalimutan na pindutin yung ating bell upang makareceive ng mga notification sa mga susunod nating videos. Toot! Maraming salamat! So, ayun na nga mga kaibigan, ngayon, kung kayo ay meron pang mga karagdagang katanungan or meron kayong gustong malaman pa na medyo naguguluhan kayo sa loob ng klase o saan pa man, maaari kayong mag-send or mag-message ng mga katanungan ninyo sa mga accounts na ito. Sa aking Gmail account is engineerulysses@gmail.com at sa aking Facebook account naman, ito yung aking official account, is Yuli Cruz Cruz. So mag-message lamang kayo dyan ng inyong katanungan at susubukan natin yan ay sagutin upang tayo ay makatulong hindi lamang sa inyo at pati na rin sa iba. Yun lamang, maraming salamat at pagpalain kayo ng Panginoon. Maraming salamat.